it would appear that Mr. Tate has been released from house arrest, and a lot of people falsely believe on social media that this means that the charges against him were dropped or that he was found innocent. And this is not the case. This is not how the Romanian justice system works. So I'll do my best to try to explain it. When the authorities believe that someone committed the crime, the first stage is they do the investigation. In most cases, the person is allowed to be free while the investigation takes place. During this time, the person is not getting charged. Once the authorities have finished doing the investigation, they can choose to either press charges or to drop the case. If they press charges, then the person goes to court, and if he is found guilty, he goes to prison. If he is found innocent, he is allowed to go free. There are some exceptions to this. When the person is a flight risk, so let's say he has dual citizenship, or he owns a private jet, in that situation, during the investigation, before the charges are pressed, the person can be detained. This will happen for a maximum of 6 months. After those 6 months, the person goes under house arrest. There is another exception when the person is considered to be influential enough in order to sway the investigation. This could be due to the fact that he is a renowned public influencer, a politician, a powerful business person, Don Corleone, anyone that can hamper the investigation by trying to intimidate witnesses or trying to corrupt certain witnesses or try to change some evidence, right? So in this situation, the person, while he is investigated, before he is being charged, is going to be detained. Now, in the case of Andrew Tate, he was detained for 6 months in prison and then for several more months under house arrest. And now he is being let go. This doesn't mean that they're not pressing charges against him. It also doesn't mean that they found him innocent. They simply believe that either he is no longer a flight risk, or he cannot sway the public opinion more than it has already been swayed, or he can't, at this point, manipulate any of the evidence that the police have gathered. Take into account that this case, and this is something that most people don't even speak about on social media, isn't just against Andrew Tate. There are many other people that are being investigated. From what I understand, there's an entire police station that's being under investigation. There's 2 other women as well, and his brother. So, if they consider that the investigation regarding Tate himself has been concluded, and they are still working to gather evidence on the other people accused, they see no reason to keep Tate under house arrest. Take into account that if he is going to be found innocent, or if the authorities do not press charges, they will owe him reparations. Because Tate is a millionaire, they will probably owe him a lot of money. They also have to give him back his cars. If you guys remember, his cars were impounded by the Romanian government. They haven't sold them or do anything with them. They're probably in a warehouse. And this is in the case that Andrew Tate is going to have to pay damages to the women that are accusing him, and he refuses to do so. They can just sell the cars and use that money in order to pay. This is why the Romanian government has taken his cars away. But again, if he is found innocent, or if he wants to, if he is found guilty and has to pay and pays from his own pockets, he will get the cars back. The cars are pretty much like an insurance that he is going to pay no matter what. So this is what has happened so far. Like, either they're considering that he's no longer a flight risk due to the fact that he is renowned around the world and everyone knows who he is. So, if he tries to leave the country, people are going to call the authorities. Or they don't believe that he can sway the public influence more than it has already been swayed. There's also the possibility that they believe that he is no longer able to influence witnesses. They have all the evidence. They have all the people that came forward and press charges. So they may believe that there is no longer a reason to keep him under house arrest. Again, as I mentioned before, this can cost the Romanian government a lot. Usually, the authorities prefer not to keep people under house arrest. They prefer not to detain people unless they're incredibly sure that the accusation is going to stick. But what it's important to point out is that this does not speak about his guilt. I see some people on social media saying about his innocence. he is presumed to be innocent. Like, he doesn't have to prove his innocence, okay? The government has to prove his guilt. He doesn't have to prove his innocence. But what I'm trying to say is that the fact that he was released from house arrest doesn't say anything about the case itself. When he went to the judge to appeal, it's most likely they didn't even talk about the case at all. The only question is he a flight risk? Is he capable of intimidating witnesses? Is he capable of swaying public opinion? And the judge that looked at the appeal decided that no. So this is what it's about, right? Because I seen a lot of people not really understanding what's going on social media. Especially, I think, like, Tate's lawyer said that he is hopeful that this is going to lead to other good things in the future. And, you know, as a lawyer, like, he's got all the right to say this. But the case itself hasn't been discussed yet. Like, they haven't really talked about the investigation that the police did, what the findings are, what the witnesses have said. Like, we still don't know any of that. And most likely it wasn't even discussed. It will be discussed once the authorities consider that they have gathered enough evidence to build a case, not just against Tate, but the other people involved. And only then will it go to court. And once it goes to court, I don't think it's going to be televised or live streamed. But I'm pretty sure we are going to hear from two people. We are going to hear from Tate's lawyer, and we're going to hear from the person responsible for communicating with the press on behalf of the prosecution. So these are the two people that we're going to hear from in the news. Until then, the police is still investigating. From what I understand, it's a very large case. Usually this takes a couple of years in order to finish an investigation that involves so many people. And it's mostly due to the bureaucracy, because they have to make sure that absolutely everything checks out. Because otherwise, even if the person is guilty and you have evidence against them, if you make even a small technical error, his lawyer is going to try to get him off on that. If you have, like, chat logs, like, let's say you have Discord chat logs, those can't be used in court as is. Because the person can say, well, they were fake. So what you have to do is you gotta contact the Discord company, and they have to give you the logs from their internal server. And they also have, like, a signature that they're legit. I understand that in the case of Andrew Tate, there are logs. So they have to go to the company. This is why it's taking so long, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And it's not just him, it's other people. So, yeah, usually these investigations can take up to several years. Hopefully, it's not going to be the case, because I, as many other people, want to see the resolution of this. So I do want to see justice being done. I do want to see Tate going to court and having his day over there. And we shall see if he is found guilty or not. Until then, let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.